Welcome to the Legacy LaunchPod, where we help families build and scale their online business to the six-figure mark and beyond so they can break the poverty cycle, build generational wealth, and make a huge impact in the kingdom of God. It all starts right here. I am here yet again out of breath on a walk with a less than ideal audio situation. I am letting this be an example to you that I am not waiting for perfection. I am not waiting for the perfect studio, the perfect equipment. I did not invest hundreds or thousands of dollars into gear and the right setting and the right podcasting room and all the things, soundproofing and all of that. I'm not doing any of that. I'm doing it in the most organic, low resistance way. And so I'm here on my walk. Steve's with me here, and we actually tried to get some better earbuds, and they turned out to be crap. And so we're not using them. How do you buy earbuds that are wired, that plug into your phone, and it turns out they're actually Bluetooth? Who made those? I mean, I thought I was getting a good deal here, getting a 2-pack for $15, and it turns out that it sounds like your phone is drowning in a well. So we're just going straight voice into the phone with nothing else. So that's okay though. It's about not being a perfectionist, right? It's about doing the thing that is low-hanging fruit and not doing it perfect. And if you can get over that, it's a little bit of, oh, this isn't the perfect way I want to present myself to the world. If you get over that a little bit, you're going to go far, because everybody else gets stuck right there. They actually don't do anything because it's not 100% perfect. And it's not the way they want to represent themselves, right? It's a little bit of a shot to the ego. This isn't the ultimate representation of who I really am. Yeah, and I would argue there's so much of who I am that is not captured in this type of recording. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is that I'm doing the next right thing that I think is going to be a benefit and service to you. So we're here on our daily walk, and one really short win, community win today. I saw one of my students had a video go over 1 million views with one of her short form videos. Wow. And she's been, it's really exciting. And it's just like, what's so exciting is it's the kind of person who you don't expect to make content that's going to go viral just because of the niche and because of the types of content she puts out. What's it called? Controversial. So she had a video hit over 1 million views and tons of comments. Huge opportunity for her to reach a new audience. So just celebrating that today. And we have a couple of extra questions that came up. All right. So one question here, I'm going to hand this over to you, Steve, if you want to answer it. Where to start if you have no finances? Any thoughts on that?
Where to start when you have no finances?
Marry a wife who has a bunch of good ideas?
Yeah, I think you got to start somewhere, and that's different for everybody. So you have to do the best with what you got, whatever that is. That's really the key principle. And you cannot use anything as your excuse as to why you can't do it.
But someone's going to say, you can't draw water from a stone.
Sure. So guess what? Go to the library, get some books. That's practically free. I mean, it costs a little bit, but it's less than buying a book.
Is it? What does it cost?
I don't know.
Library. I don't think it costs you anything.
I don't think it costs you anything to go to the library. Maybe some libraries charge a membership fee. I don't know.
No, they're usually public.
It's been so long since I've been to one. So that's what I mean. It's practically free. You can use their internet. You can use, get all the books you want.
But what about the cost of actually starting a business?
Well, you can start a business for practically nothing.
Right.
You teach this. You talk about it all the time. Building a seed audience organically.
Yeah, you can do it organic. Social media is free.
Social media is free. Followers are free.
You can sell in the DMs if you need to. That's what I've been doing all along.
Exactly. There's ways you can do it. Anyways, it comes down to, I think, the person's determination. Like, how really badly do they actually want, let's just say, the life of an entrepreneur, the life that people call freedom, which once you become an entrepreneur, yes, there is freedom in it. but you trade your 9 to 5 job for a 80-hour-a-week job because you care that much more. And the future of your family depends on it that much more. Like, it depends on your making it work. Life of an entrepreneur is not easier than the life of an employee. It's many, many times more difficult and challenging. And we touched on this in, I think, the other last episode. You're forced to grow in ways that you aren't otherwise. So, but how do you get started for free? Did we answer that question?
The library, get all the free tutorials and things that you can, and then act. I think the biggest thing that people think they need is to just keep consuming, and not do anything. And the truth is, a real entrepreneur doesn't wait to know everything until they take action. A true entrepreneur takes action actually without knowing what the heck they're doing. That's a real entrepreneur. Someone who's willing to take a risk, someone who's willing to look stupid, someone who's willing to look foolish, and willing to put themselves out there with no guarantee that there's an ROI on the other side of it, no comfort that anything is even going to come of it. There's no one that's going to be able to tell you, yeah, this is going to work. Oh, yeah, I can guarantee that. There's no coaching program that can ever do that either, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Can't legally guarantee anything, any result for anyone. But
no, even if your program is the best in the entire world, right? When you go to college or university, they don't guarantee your success.
Yeah.
They don't guarantee that at the end of spending $400,000 to become a doctor or something else that
you're actually get a job.
You're going to get a job and you're going to make it and it's all going to be fine. You're going to pay it back and, go into significant debt just to do that. So there's no guarantee in life. And that's true.
So stop waiting for confirmation that something's going to work. No one's going to give you that confirmation. So you've got to move forward. What's the next step? Take the next step, and take the next step without necessarily knowing what the next 10 steps are. That's the key. I had no plan to do this podcast last week, and then suddenly I did. And I was like, you know what? I want to do long form content. That's really missing in my ecosystem. And people have nothing that they can binge in terms of long form content. And so I've got my email, I've got my short form content, but this is kind of like the third leg on the stool that I'm missing. And so I just need to do it, and I don't need to think about it, and I don't need to wonder, well, what if this and what if that, and how do I plan this and how do I plan that, and how am I going to be able to do blah, blah, blah. I'm not thinking about any of it. I'm just doing it. And so this is your call to action today. It doesn't matter if you have money, you don't have money.
Yeah. I think that's really a significant key factor, actually, is the answers are on the other side of action.
That's one we can just keep repeating on this podcast.
You can just over and over again, because it's true. No successful business person, entrepreneur started their business waiting for the perfect scenario, they just started doing stuff. And they figured out by doing stuff what worked and what didn't work along the way. And that's what you got to do.
So I think we answered that question. I've got another one here. I think this is someone who is probably in the physical product space. They said, talk about selling wholesale. Is it worth it? Pricing, etc. Steve and I have pretty strong views on this. Here's a fun fact. Our business is well into the 8 figures now, and we are only just now considering it. We're only just now considering offering wholesale as a distribution channel. Wholesale is an expansion methodology. It's not a wonderful startup plan. Steve can speak to this a little bit more specifically because he's more on the operations and finance side. But I know a lot of people get into business thinking they're going to make a killing and they're going to do it with wholesale and they're going to have a bunch of volume and this and that. But that is a very big mistake because it's the wrong sequence of events, especially in the life cycle of a startup business. Let's define startup business as a business that has not reached 7 figures yet or is new. If you've been around for 20 years and you've never hit 7 figures, it's probably not a startup. It's just a small business. Why should people in the physical product space not consider wholesale as a primary channel before 7 figures?
Well, primarily going off of the assumption that this is a new business person, a new business, new product. It's not proven.
And let's define, you're not proven until you actually hit multiple 6 figures, and I would argue 7 figures. When you hit the $1 million mark, you just truly validated the marketplace.
Yeah.
That might be shocking for some people to hear.
Exactly. So you haven't validated your product, your business, and you actually don't have until you validated it. You just have an idea until you have repeatable and predictable sales. And part of that repeatable and predictable side is your costs. And if you jump straight into wholesale right off the bat without knowing your true costs to do business, you are going bankrupt very quickly because the margins in wholesale are way, way tighter than direct to consumer.
So your ability to reinvest into your business, grow, pay yourself, all the important things that a startup needs to do to survive, even past the first year, you're deeply, deeply cutting into right out of the gate. So it sets you up
Yeah.
for failure.
Yeah. And so ultimately what this really means is that you're under-resourced. And a business that's under-resourced is dying. It's not growing. So that's, your profit is a huge part of that. And eventually, depending on your business and your model, you might have investors or equity that gets put into the business, capital, all that kind of thing that can help resource your business. But
that's way beyond where these people are at.
Yeah, I'm just getting to the principle is resourcing, right? You're under-resourced when you first start out. You don't have a proven product. You don't have a proven sales system. There's nothing predictable or repeatable in place. Do not do wholesale. Prove it with direct to consumer first.
If you're a B2B business, then that's your consumer, right?
Right. But we're talking wholesale, and that's different than B2B.
Yep. The dynamics of male, female, or husband and wife in business. We will be probably talking about this quite a lot. I think we'll do some dedicated episodes in the future because it's a very big and nuanced conversation. And nobody's marriage is the same. No one's situation is the same. There are no, black and white rules for this. But I will say that the one tip I can give is you and your husband or you and your spouse, you've got to be on the same page in terms of your goals and in terms of your calling in life. If you don't start with that premise, nothing is going to fall into place. It's going to feel like you guys are at odds. It's going to feel like a battle. It's going to feel like you don't have the support you need, and on and on. It's going to be rough. So you've got to first start. Don't even talk about a business until you first talked about your legacy. What's the family legacy? What's the vision? What is the goal? What are we trying to do? Why are we here on earth? It's a little bit existential, but you've got to have those conversations. You've got to come to the same agreement that you have a multi-generational vision, whatever that vision is, that you need some resources to do it. And one primary resource is available cash or assets. Resources, right? Resources are just tools. They're not evil. Money is not the root of all evil. The love and the worship of it is. It's a tool. And so if you can get on the same page and you can agree that you guys have the same goals at heart, then the next question becomes, well, how are we going to do it? How are we going to get there? And you have to define it too, not just pie in the sky. Oh yeah, we want a spiritual heritage and we want to leave an inheritance to our kids. Okay, get specific. What kind of inheritance? Like, you just want to leave some silver coins under the cushion, or do you want to leave a grand estate? Like, what are you leaving? What are you leaving? Is it a foundation? Is it a ministry? What are you leaving? So those are the questions and the deeper conversations you need to have. And that might not be a very quick process, right? And if you guys are already on the same page, you're going to speed through that. But many people are not on the same page with their spouse, and that's a process, and you're going to have many conversations. I'm like, this to me all starts with dreaming. And it's like, that's what you do on your date nights. Get a bottle of wine and dream. You can dream. It's okay to dream. And we've been, I think, conditioned to stop dreaming and to stop imagining what could be and what could be real in our lifetime. And it's not a fairy tale. It's not some distant thing. It's actually attainable. There's more millionaires today in the world than there's ever been in the history of mankind. It's never been easier than now to do something significant, have global impact, and amass a large amount of wealth.
Yeah.
And be able to climb the class ladders. I know we don't have official classes these days, but you can climb the metaphorical ladder in like 365 days in the most record amount of time. That's never been possible in the history of the world until now. So you have every permission to dream and get on the same page. It starts with your values. It starts with your mission, your vision, and your worldview. Your worldview dictates everything else, right? Your worldview dictates the values and so forth. So everything is coming from that. So if you guys can align on that one thing, you're good. I know you might not be at the same place at the same moment in time right this moment, but you'll get there. This is my encouragement to you, that especially if you're the wife, if you're the woman with the ideas and you are the spark plug, the rocket fuel, like I was, the visionary, the one with the ideas, you're like, let's go. And the husband's kind of like the steady Eddie. You'll get there. And he might take a little convincing, but it all starts with allowing yourselves to dream together again, though in the ways that we have not allowed ourselves to. We stopped after we were kids, right? So start with that. Make it a date night. Make it a series of date nights just for fun. Plan out your dream itinerary for a trip. Even if you don't even go, just map it all out, like a trip to Greece and Italy and Spain somewhere, and spend each date night mapping it all out. Everything from the airfare, like pick out your flights, pick out the hotels, pick out the tours you would do and the places you would go, and go on to TripAdvisor and look at all the things and map out your dream itinerary. This is what I mean. When I say dreaming, I don't just mean daydreaming. I mean, it's kind of like you're making a mock plan, right? It's like a plan, and something kind of cool happens when you do things like that. I think I just started doing those things for fun, but they tend to happen. Why do you think that is?
Man plans his way, the Lord directs his steps. That's why. You put a plan together and then actions tend to follow. Beliefs about what's possible determine your actions, what actions you're going to take or not take.
Exactly. And I think that sometimes the way the Lord works is it's like we are in a car and that car has to be moving. It's not because he couldn't move the car himself, but he wants us to put our foot on the gas pedal, and he'll steer us, he'll direct us, he'll drive us there, he'll open the doors, close the doors, but he wants us in motion. And so, like, he's sovereign, he can do whatever he wants, but that's how he has directed us to move. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't leave just yet. I've got 2 things. Number 1, if you enjoyed this content, if this was of any value to you, please leave me a review and share with a friend. This content is 100% free, so that's like leaving me a tip, and it's going to encourage us to keep making it. Number 2, if it's your desire to build your own family legacy and you want some help, send me a DM on Instagram with the word podcast, and I've got something special for you. Again, DM me with the word podcast at Real Leah McHenry on Instagram. We'll see you next time.